Did you remember God today? I mean, in the busyness and blur of life, has God, albeit inadvertently, somehow been sidelined? I mean, did you begin today in prayer? In fact, I suppose we could ask, what were those first waking thoughts when we woke up this morning? Did God at all cross our mind? Hello and welcome to Message Week. I'm John Classic. You see, there's a constant thread running through the Scriptures that remind us of who God is and, for that matter, of who we are. Reminders for those of us who listen and take to heart of what the covenant relationship we've been called into is all about. The fourth commandment here comes to mind. God begins with, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." He reminds us to take some much-needed rest. Now we could ask, does God really have to remind us to rest? And perhaps more importantly, at His appointed times? Well, it would seem so, doesn't it? Jesus reminded His followers that they were to love God with all their heart and all their mind and all their soul and all their strength. How easy do you think this is? Well, do you remember when you first fell in love? You couldn't stop thinking about the new love in your life. In fact, at the mere mention of your beloved's name, your heart would skip a beat. You know, that's the kind of ongoing commitment and calling that God has invited us into. God says to a people who have all but forgotten, "But I have this against you, that you left your first love. Therefore remember from where you have fallen and repent and do the first works." There's really no excuse. Saying there is no God is one thing, but to treat Him with indifference or apathy and then to perhaps finally dismiss or deny His word may well be a sin of omission that's simply inexcusable. So, where is the line of accountability in our relationship with God drawn? Did you know that God remembers us? We've often heard about the book of life in the Bible, but apparently there's another book in heaven worth noting, and it's called the Book of Remembrance. We read from Malachi, "So a book of remembrance was written before Him for those who fear the Lord and who meditate on His name." Does that mean that God has a specific book that remembers those who treat Him with awe and respect and who constantly think on His name? Well, it certainly sounds like it. So the question really is, what does God remember about us? You know, the answer isn't all that much of a surprise, because we are largely the ones responsible for determining that record. Everything we say and do that's holy forms the ink, if you like, in God's book of remembrance. So may God grant us all a heart that loves and a mind that truly remembers Him.